Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson have their own subtle responses to Troy Aikman. We're going to talk a little bit about that and what that means and how they handled that. We're also going to talk about, the injury updates to DJ Moore and Noah Sewell. And is Ryan Poles going to make a major move? We're going to talk about all that plus more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today. And let's start off with the injury updates. Now, I did release an emergency video on this kind of when it came out, but I did not release it as a podcast. So I want to talk about it here. DJ Moore. Ben Johnson gave an update that DJ Moore is now expected to be day-to-day. His status for Sunday is still unknown, and the Bears are going to play it safe with this, as they should. You know, he went down with a groin injury. He was treated overnight. Ben Johnson said that they avoided anything serious, but, because of that, his availability for Sunday with the short week is kind of in question there, and that's fine. The Bears are at the place where I think, going up against the Ravens and not, the Saints. Is that who we're playing first? And not to say that you can take anything lightly for the Chicago Bears there, but with the short week, the Bears, they have enough in the wide receiver room. Olamide Zaccheaus, Luther Burden, Rome Odunze. They're just going to have to play and perform really well to get this done. And DJ Moore, make no mistake about it, while the stats have not been necessarily great for him, right? The counting stats, we'll talk about a little bit of that. Like what DJ Moore and how teams have to plan for yards after the catch have still been something that has helped alleviate some pressure, right? And you look at what he's been able to do on both the ground and the run, and that's just, Ben Johnson using him as a versatile weapon. He has 19 passes for 215 yards and 1 touchdown, 8 carries for 25 yards so far on this young season. He's gotten 1 touchdown in regards to that as well. They're gonna do it. And so at the end of the day, the fact that DJ Moore avoided anything serious is really good. That's what you want to see. And if it's one game, he ends up missing some time, that's fine. You're gonna have to weather that storm. You're going to have to be okay there, and the Bears need to figure it out, right? And I think that they will over time. But luckily, nothing major there, and we'll see what happens after that when he's able to get cleared. If he can get cleared for Sunday, great. If not, next man up. And we got a deep wide receiver room. And we also need to go to the bag of using our tight ends a little bit more, too, if that's what it comes down to. So, the Bears just have to work that out. Now, also an update in regards to Noah Sewell. He has, I believe, a grade 2 concussion, which I would not be surprised if he misses the next 2 weeks. Honestly, they're not going to play about concussions. They're going to play that very safely before he's cleared to get back out there on the football field. And Noah Sewell has been a revelation for the Bears this year. I love the way that he's been playing and actually being part of it. He's had some health issues, of course. He's had some issues where, he was regulated to special teams, but Noah Sewell has been somebody that this season has provided some really good performance for the Chicago Bears. He has 19 solo tackles so far in the year, 1 forced fumble. Noah Sewell has been out there making things happen. He has 32 total tackles as well. So he's on pace for right around 100 tackles this season. Now, that was always going to change with TJ Edwards coming back, and luckily we do have TJ Edwards back, and the rookie Ruben Hippolyte's going to have to take advantage of this opportunity to show what he can bring with Noah Sewell being down. Again, next man up mentality, but I hope we do get Noah Sewell back out there sooner rather than later, and that he's available for the Chicago Bears, because this season that he's had so far this year has been really good, a really solid season, and so we're going to hope that we continue to see that from Noah Sewell this season. So that's just little minor injury updates. We'll see what eventually ends up happening with that one, but I want to get into moving on from this, right? Ben Johnson and the little shade that he's thrown at Troy Aikman has been really good to see, right? He was on ESPN Chicago, and he was asked about that, and we actually have it here. He said this:
"Twin, so that's a triple whammy."
Yeah, I think you said it best. I love that perspective. It sounded like from that game the other night, a few people weren't particularly pleased with how we were winning right now. So that's the. I woke up this morning and, my kids were watching the second half before school. And so I heard some of the commentary, but Listen, in this league, any way you can find a way to win.
And you just love, like, Ben Johnson's whole mood and attitude is something that's legitimate, right? Like, you feel what Ben Johnson is saying, what he's talking about. Like, this is a guy that's truly passionate, not only about the game of football, but about the players and being a leader, right? And that's great. And it is what it is. And I think Ben Johnson, what it is that he's fitting into the Chicago style very, very well. And it just is what it is. He's fitting into the Chicago culture well. And you love to see that. And Caleb Williams had his little dig at it too. But I want to talk about it from this point, right? I expect the national media to have doubts about the Chicago Bears. And that just is what it is. Like, Troy Aikman, whoever it is, them having little shit about the Chicago Bears, that's fine. It is what it is. The Bears have been a franchise that, through what's happened here on the football field, we deserve some of that. It sucks to say that because I don't want to say that about my team, but we do deserve a little bit of that because we have not been able to perform at the level that we need to consistently. Things that we've thought were going to work out ended up failing. Things have blown up in our faces. And so while I expect that from some of the national media, it's still bullshit. Make no mistake about it. It's still dumb. Make no mistake about it. But, Troy Aikman wanting to call everything luck and things like that and try to paint it as that way. But here's my thing. Some of y'all do the same thing. And I don't know if y'all understand and know this, but by clicking y'all name in a comment, we can see every comment you ever left on the channel. Every single comment you've ever left on the channel. And so some of y'all now like to jump on bandwagons, right? And that's, from Bears fans, that's the disgusting part. And that's not to say that you can't change your mind. You can change your mind, make no mistake. But some of y'all go the way of the wind, meaning that whatever way the wind's blowing, that's the way that you're going. Seeing some of y'all try to call out Troy Aikman and stuff like that, and seeing y'all do some of the same shit earlier in the same day, like, come on. Like, I get it. The doubt around this team is legitimate. It just is, right? And I've always said that Bears fans that have a bit of pessimism, I understand that. I don't always agree, but I can understand that because we got to see it. I completely understand that. But the flip-flopping nature of it, meaning that when one thing goes one way, because exactly, just to highlight some of this, some of y'all so busy talking this offseason about, let's look at Kevin Warren. I want to see Kevin Warren do XYZ. Kevin Warren steps up and does XYZ. Kevin Warren needs to just stay in the front office. Why is he doing his job? He's getting in the way of XYZ. Oh, I want to see Ben Johnson make all the decisions. Oh my God, we just needed, like, some of y'all just want to complain and bitch and whine and moan, right? And keep in mind, this is why this broadcast is a little bit different, because I'm going to call this shit out. Some of y'all are stupid. And if that makes you feel a way, ask yourself, why do you feel a way about that, instead of recognizing, all right, yeah, some people are stupid. If that triggered something to you, that means you did some stupid shit, right? And the continued shade and stuff thrown around, I expect it from somebody stupid like Ghost of Judah. I expect that. You can tell that the old man doesn't watch an actual football game to save his life. He doesn't know most people's names on the damn team, but he knows Tyson Bagent because that's his white savior. That's all fine and dandy. That's fine. He can do that over on his whack ass channel. He can do that. But for some of y'all that want to talk actual football, and that it comes down to you guys go whatever way the national media is doing, except for when the Bears win, then it's against some stuff. Y'all are TikTok and wishy-washy, right? And the problem with that is that while this team has things that they need to show and grow, right? And the thing that I always say about this is that as things grow and as players improve, if your narrative stays the same because you just want to be right about something, you're an idiot. And I stand by that. And I don't care if that makes some people want to unsubscribe. I don't care if that makes some people want to tune out the channel. If you don't want to hear realness here, then this ain't the channel for you. You need to go somewhere else. And I will say that, and I will respect your decision to go and support another channel, because there are some great Bears channels out there that will cater to your dumbassery. But the fact of the matter is that we are seeing a team that is improving. And while there are enough reasons to doubt things around Ryan Poles and his drafting as well, some of y'all can't acknowledge when Ryan Poles hits on some things. Theo Benedict looks like a hit. Noah Sewell this season looks like a hit. Tremaine Edmunds looks much better under a different defensive coordinator. It takes so much for things to go right. It's not as simple as you make the right move and then boom, you just start winning. There are things and processes that need to be in place. And the Bears have just gotten to the part of the process now where they have the coach that we truly believe in. That's why I love seeing things like I just played from Ben Johnson, because this is the guy that you look at and you're like, nah, this is a guy that we can believe in and we can get behind. And you already see the development that he's done. If you look at how Caleb Williams now plays under center, it's legitimate. Like, that's just not by happenstance. That's not by osmosis. That's through the plan that Ben Johnson put forward. That's through Caleb Williams buying into it. And that doesn't mean that Caleb doesn't have things he absolutely needs to that he needs to get better on. Like, we saw the stat that he missed, that he leads the league in missed opportunities. Like, he has to get better in that. And that's something that, though, I trust that we now have a coach that's going to get through to him to say that. So while some of y'all want to talk about Troy Aikman hating, you need to deal with your own internal hate that you have for your own team, and the fact that some of y'all just want to whine and complain on social media so you can be right about something and then don't want to acknowledge when things get better. It's not as simple as you can stop complaining once we start winning. It's a process that you need to go through to start winning at a high level. And some of the Bears fans can acknowledge, hey, we're in XYZ part of the process. We got to see it through. We got to see how we're going to come out on the other side of it. But if you look at this team and you truly think there's been no growth of this team from last year to this year, you're stupid. You're flat out dumb. Like, that's just it. You are football and probably overall sports remedial. If you're still sitting there talking about and whining and complaining that Caleb Williams is the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears, guess what? Get over it. They have shown already their hand. They are committed to Caleb Williams. And that commitment is going to be here for a while, because guess what? He is growing as a quarterback. He is getting better as a quarterback. That is his job. He's getting better in the processing. The way that he picks up blitzes now has drastically improved. These things have gotten better for him. Now, the completion percentage of 62.5%, we need to get better on that. You know, Ben Johnson laid out a challenge for him to get to 70%, and we'll see if he can do that. But let's be clear here. This is a quarterback that's being sacked less, right? 10 sacks so far on the season. He has a QB rating that's improved by 11 points over last year so far into this season. He's on track to throw for almost 4,000 yards. And this is a guy that's improved. Now, he has 9 touchdowns already 4 games into the season, 5 games into the season. He has 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Improvement is being done. Now, for some that don't have the patience for that because they want it all now, I understand you. I'm there. I would love to be talking about a team that is 4-1, but guess what? We could have been 4-1. We made some mistakes down the stretch, absolutely, but we could have done that. And for some people that talk about the Bears and Ryan Poles and what he has or has not done, guess what? This is a guy that the class right now, it looks pretty solid, right? Colston Loveland needs to be used more, but it's been a solid grade for him. Luther Burden and the opportunities that he's been given has been looking pretty damn good. Ozzie Trapillo, haven't seen enough from yet, admittedly. Shamar Turner, starting looks pretty good. He's played 57 snaps over the last 3 games. He didn't play at all in the first 2 games, but he's been improving in his grades so far, right? So things are looking good. Kyle Monangai looking better, right? Theo Benedict, a guy that he found last season, starting to look good, and now is your starting left tackle. Everything isn't all doom and gloom. And if you view it that way, then you're missing part of the reality of it. Some of y'all just want to bitch, and that's fine. That is your right as an American to bitch, as a human. If you want to bitch, go ahead and do it. But realize you are indeed bitching, and that's fine. I hate to tell y'all this, but it was never going to be that the Bears are going to turn into, from where they were last season, to some 12-5 juggernaut in the NFC North just because we hired Ben Johnson and made a few changes and had what on paper looks like a solid draft class. That wasn't going to be what's going to change this. Now, for that leads us into our next topic. What is Ryan Poles going to do, right? Ryan Poles, I wonder this. How protective are the Bears going to be over their draft picks this year? Because if they're not as protective in some of them, with some of the players that are out there available, I can understand the Bears going after them. Now, I've had the mindset and the thought that the Bears and what they do after the bye week is going to help determine what they do by the trade deadline. The trade deadline is coming right away. It's right around the corner, right? And so while we don't know for sure, the question is Ryan Poles now going to see this team, if the Bears win again, for example, if they win again on Sunday and get a win over the Saints, and the Bears now sit at 4-2, Does that make Ryan Poles more likely or less likely, looking at the state of this roster, to want to make a trade? The trade deadline is November 4th. It's November 4th. We're basically 3 weeks away from the trade deadline. We have, 3 games until then? We have 3 games, because we play Cincinnati November 2nd. So we can go all the way up until week 9, until the Bears need to make a trade. What evaluation needs to be done over that? I tell you this, the part of my evaluation is, and I think this is the question that Ryan Poles has to ask himself. If you acquire an edge, if you acquire a running back, if you do these type of things, those are still the 2 positions that we're probably looking at the most that need some reinforcement. If you do that, what's the cost? That's one of the first things you have to ask yourself. What's the cost of going after that? A running back is probably a day 3 pick. An edge that actually changes something meaningful for the Chicago Bears, you're probably looking at a day 2 pick at worst, right? And so is giving up that pick worth what you feel that you can achieve this season with adding that to this team? Now, for what it's worth, DeAndre Swift and the Bears running attack had its best game last week, but it was against the Washington Commanders. You want to continue to evaluate that, right? And I would still think that personally, my safer bet is, because it's going to take less draft capital, is to add a running back to help this offense. And the defense, not to say that you ignore the defense. I don't want to do that yet necessarily either. But I just think what you need on the defensive side of the ball could take such a high asset that maybe wait to evaluate after Austin Booker gets back, especially with Kyler Gordon, TJ Edwards back, and those type of things, that you may want to evaluate that. And then you can still make a trade in the offseason. And then at that point, you kind of know where your draft selection is, and you could kind of survey that versus where you feel you can get with that draft selection. Like, if the Bears end up picking in the 20s in the draft, which I would love for that, because that means the Bears actually did something this season, is that worth giving up for a more veteran edge that's proven that you can add to the team, rather than draft an edge there, right? Is that more worth it? And I think that's something that the Bears have to ask themselves also in this evaluation. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I don't know what ultimately they're gonna come away with in that. I wish I did have the answer to that. But I think overall, looking at this team and what Ryan Poles has to evaluate is those things. What's the cost to add it? Adding a running back typically is a pretty low cost, day 3 pick. The cost of adding a defensive end takes a lot more than that, right? So I think you have to factor that part into it, is the defensive edge part into it, right? But can Ryan Poles afford to sit on his hands? And the value you have to ask yourself is, do you think you can make a legitimate play, a wild card run? Let's just say wild card for now. Do you think you can make a legitimate wild card run by giving up one of those assets to get a running? Like, is a running back the difference between your offense being good enough to make the playoffs? Is that good enough to do those type of things? Is a defensive edge, the one that you can acquire, not only worth a day 2 or day 1 pick at this point before you know exactly where it is and how the board's going to shake out? Is it worth that to give that up? And that's the job of Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles has been fairly quiet, and that's what the job of a GM. Once the season starts, I want to hear from the coach. I want to hear from the players. I want my GM to be working in the background, trying to find ways to improve this team. I would rather see the result of your evaluation than hear you talk a lot. And that's just where I stand on it. And we'll see what Ryan Poles comes up with that. But let me throw this to you guys. Do you think Ryan Poles makes a move at this trade deadline? And what would you be willing to give up? Is a day 2 pick too much? Is a day 1 pick too much? Is it the day 3 pick that you're willing to give up? Let me know what you guys think on that down below. With that said, we do got one voicemail I want to play today. This one is from Keys.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Keys. Hope all is well with you, man. That being said, let's get to it. Phenomenal win last night. And what a hell of a game, not only for that defense and the D-line. They showed up a little bit. I think Montez Sweat and Javon Dexter, they really brought it together last night. They was bringing pressure all night, it looked like, on Jaden. Jaden had some time a little bit here and there to get the ball out, and when you're a good player, you're going to make some plays. But our run game last night was just phenomenal. DeAndre Swift did his thing. Kyle Monangai turned it up a little bit too. And Caleb, I'm going to say something people may not agree, but I really felt like the last 2 times he played against Jaden Daniels, which just came in the last one, he really outplayed that dude, man, and he really showed why he should have been the number one pick. The reps were atrocious, as we all know, and some things being taken back. Like, you think about last year to this year, had we scored that touchdown that the dude didn't fumble the ball when they gave it to the fullback, and then that touchdown for Roma Dunze, we really beat the Commanders' ass 2 times. And that helps us ascend to where we need to go. But that's neither here nor there. That's done and over with. And, now reports are coming out about DJ going to the hospital and being accompanied by Antoine Randall. So we don't know how long he's going to be out. But I'm going to make a declaration and say that this is the games right here. If DJ is out for an amount of time, but we'll see both. Not only Luther Burden ascend into their receiver, because he had some really good moments last night too, but I also think it's going to be a chance for Colston Loveland to shine as well. Because now you take away maybe Caleb's second target, and you got the embarrassment of riches as a team. I think Luther Burden and Colston Loveland are going to be due for some big time games coming up. Overall, I'm pleased. I'm happy. I still think we could be able to make some moves, and the way the schedule's looking right now, we got a chance to really make a run where we can beat these teams that's coming up. You look at our next games, we could go on a winning streak. This is a team I think we can go on a winning streak, and we can make some big things happen, man. And I truly believe that by the time we get to the Pittsburgh Steelers, we could be on a winning streak that most people didn't see coming. But we're going to take it a game at a time, play at a time, and we just keep doing what we do. Let me know what you guys think. As always, Chi-Town up, bear down.
Great win for the Bears, absolutely, Keys. There's no doubt about that. And these are the type of tough wins that build identity for your team. And I love that the Bears won this game. I love the way that they won this game. It was nail-biting. It was suck. We posted it as a short on the channel if anybody wants to watch it. We were stressed, right? Stressed, as some of the older people would say. That's absolutely true. We were that. But you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world because I think that those type of opportunities are invaluable for a team. You can't put a value on that for a team of toughing stuff out like that and how much it truly does help your team build identity and how that can play into things later down the road for you. So I'm so glad that the Bears went through that. I think that was a tough win. And to end the thing, can the Bears go on a winning streak? I mean, it's possible. It's really possible. Let's say the Bears let's say over the next 3 games before the bye week, let's say the Bears can find a way to win 2 of those. And then that means they're 5-3, right? 5-3 going into the trade deadline. So between week 9 and week 10, what happens there? That's a question, right? But I think a winning streak is we're on a 3-game winning streak. Can the Bears do that? Can you win 3 or 2 out of your next 3, right? And then can you win? And then maybe you go 1-2 in that next one. Then can you go 2-1 again? Like it's the ebbs and flows of the season. That's going to happen. But can that happen for the Chicago Bears? I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I'm not going to, again, with the Bears, I don't like to predict things because things could go any way for the Chicago Bears. But hey, the Ravens are 1-5 for whatever that's worth. The New Orleans Saints are 1-5 as well. So there's some opportunity for the Bears there. But we got to execute. We got to play as a team. We got to trust our coaches, and we got to get healthy. And if we can do that, I think, there's no limit on what we can do as a team. And we'll see how that shakes out for the Bears. But thank you for leaving that voicemail. That's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following us at Chi Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.